Hi everyone, welcome. It's a Wednesday afternoon, it's Haderech day. It's a little bit of an overcast day in Finchley. We're in week 2 of our lockdown, and it's an exciting time to talk about giving Divrei Torah. Now the first thing about giving Divrei Torah is how you engage people when you're standing in front of them. The first thing is to make eye contact. I sometimes say to our Bar Mitzvah students that it's really good to say to a family member, I'm going to look at you 4 or 5 times during the time that I give my Devar Torah, on the day that I give my Devar Torah. That means that the community that you give your Devar Torah in front of are engaged with you and think and see that you're looking up to them and engaging with them, rather than looking down at a paper, which is not a good way to connect with your audience. The second thing is to try and stand still when you're giving a Devar Torah. Sometimes I'm told off for wiggling around too much when I give a Devar Torah. I think that can be distracting. The other thing is to be confident and to project your voice. It's really important that you speak slowly and that people are able to hear you clearly. So that means that you speak louder than you would normally speak, and you speak more clearly and slowly than you might already speak. That means I often tell students to speak at a half pace to how you normally speak when you are practicing your Devar Torah, and then naturally when you actually come to give your Devar Torah, you will speed up a little bit and it will come to a natural pace. Often when we are nervous, we speed up. I think if you noticed at the beginning of the video, I was speaking a little bit more quickly than I would. I was nervous. So we need to slow down in order to find a good, clear pace for the giving of our Devar Torah. I think the main thing about giving a Devar Torah is about keeping it personal. This is in the writing of the Devar Torah. Find something, a word, a sentence, maximum 2 psukim, 2 verses, 2 sentences in your Devar Torah that you really connect with, that annoy you or distress you or uplift you or excite you, and talk about them. Tell us about them and tell us about how you experience those verses. And then use that as a jumping off place to say something about you. Say something which is personal to you and to who you are, and tell us a little bit about your story using those verses. At the same time, it's really good to weave in stuff that's going on in the world at that time. If I was giving a Devar Torah this weekend, it's Pesach next week, so I would have to mention Pesach. This weekend is also Parshat Tzav, which is the parsha that I would speak about if I was giving a Devar Torah in Shul this weekend. And the letters Tzadik and Vav are equal to our house number 96. Tzadik is number 90 in the way that we count using Hebrew letters, and Vav is the number 6. So I would mention that because it's personal to me and the house that we live in. Make it personal and connect it to you in some way or another in the way that you are talking. Woven into that, I think it's also important to find sources that support some of the arguments that you are making. So try and urge your family and friends and for you to read around a little bit in some of the different sources online which are promoted on the Haderech page, and that Nikki and I and some of the other rabbis can point you towards, so that you're tying in other opinions on your parasha into the Devar Torah that you're giving. I think there's a couple of don'ts as well when you're writing Divrei Torah, things not to do. It's really important not to list the things that you're not talking about. The parasha, the parashiyot that we read, there are 54 during the year, and each of them have many, many topics that they deal in, and it's important not to stand up and say, these are the different things in my parasha, and I won't be talking about them. Mention the one thing that you're going to talk about, and then stick to that one thing. If you have time, you might mention one other aspect of your Devar Torah, but do not delve into long lists of things that you're not dealing in. I think the last thing that I would say is to give your Devar Torah with a lot of passion and a lot of good energy, to find ways to bring into your Devar Torah things that you really enjoy and things that excite you. And all of those different aspects will come together to be a really good learning opportunity for you in terms of the preparation time, and then some of that passion of the learning that you've done with your family and for yourself in the preparation of the Devar Torah will really spill over and become a strong part of how you give your Dvar Torah on the occasion of your Bar Mitzvah. I know that on the website, the Haderech at Home website, Nikki's put up some sample Divrei Torah which you should read, and then tell us some of the things that you find in that Dvar Torah that you find exciting or interesting, or think make that Dvar Torah either particularly good or particularly bad. Be in contact with us, write to me at the synagogue and tell me how you're doing on your learning and how you're doing in general. Lovely to be making these videos and having contact with you, Haderech, B'nai Mitzvah families going forward. Be in good health and good blessings for everybody. See you guys soon.